On the news, NDLEA declares DCP Abba Kyari wanted over drug links. Boko Haram recruit over 8,000 child soldiers in 13 years, UNICEF reveals. And ASU declares 1-month warning strike. Well, it's good to have you join us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Mary Kanu. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has declared Abba Kyari, the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, wanted over alleged links with an international drug cartel. This was made known by the spokesperson of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, in a press briefing on Monday. Babafemi said the anti-drug agency declared Kyari wanted because he did not honor the invitation sent to him. Kyari, until his suspension by the Commission, was the officer in charge of the Inspector General of Police Intelligence Response Team. Meanwhile, reports say the suspect has been arrested by the police. It was gathered that he was arrested alongside 4 others on Monday.
By 11:05 a.m. on Monday, January 24, after the agency gave the officer the green light to play along, he and Kyari began a WhatsApp call for the rest of the day. The officer conveyed their willingness in quotes to play the game. At this point, Kyari disclosed that the 15 kilograms already taken out was shared between the informants that provided the information for decision and himself, as well as his men of the IRT of the Nigerian police. According to him, the informants were given 10 kilograms, while his team took 8 kilograms, which was already sold. He then offered to pay the NDLEA team, that is the officer and the FCT commander, by selling on their behalf half of the remaining 10 kilograms, thereby further reducing the original cocaine from the prosecution to just 5 kilograms. At 7 million per kilogram, the proceeds from the 5 kg will amount to 35 million naira, at the exchange rate of 570 naira per dollar, being the black market rate for the day, January 24, 2022. In effect, he will be delivering $61,400 to the NDLEA team. He then put pressure on our officer to wrap up the arrangement with the commander of the FCT command to take custody of the drug and suspects from his men who are tried in Abuja. And by 5:23 p.m., Kyari was in Abuja and met with the officer at the same rendezvous where they had the first meeting. In their discussion, he disclosed how his team received information from a double-crosser who betrayed the traffickers to him, showing a solid connection between law enforcement agents and the drug underworld. He narrated how, acting on the tip-off, his team departed Abuja to Enugu and arrested the traffickers, removed part of the consignment on his instruction and replaced same with dummies. He also indicated how to identify the remnants of the original cocaine that will be delivered to NDLEA. 5 original packages marked with red dots. The reason for this was to avoid the dummies being subjected to test. He forwarded a picture of the marked original cocaine package. According to the plan, once the 5 kg cocaine has been tested in the presence of the suspects and confirmed positive, there will be no need to test the remaining ones, being dummies. Having failed to honor the official invitation, NDLEA has no option but to declare DCP Abba Kyari of the Nigerian police wanted right from this very moment.
To talk more on this development, Olariwaju Suraj, chairman of the Header Resource Center, joins me now. Well, thank you for joining me on the news. Now let's begin. What do you make of Abba Kyari's, as the DCP, his alleged involvement with an international drug cartel? What do you make of this current situation? Olariwaju, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. You can go on now. I don't know if you heard the question I asked. I asked what you make of the current situation that is on ground, that is Abba Kyari and his alleged involvement with an international drug cartel. What do you make of this?
It is clear that we have a total overhaul necessary in the police force. I mean, we have people who are more criminally minded, who are associates of criminals, so, parading as police officers and wearing the uniform. Unfortunately, quite a number of them are actually disparaging the image of the police force. I mean, this is actually not limited to Abba Kyari, and I can tell you this is actually synonymous with quite a number of many of the officers in the police force, who are very close to criminals, who shield criminals, who would fabricate, offenses against suspects. And that is one of the reasons why you would have, and this is why I don't blame some of the governors who would fail to sign the death warrant for even convicted on frivolous, allegations and evidence that are some of the will not for innocent people at really is a wake up call to the government, but to the police force as a whole, that there's a need to have a total overhaul. If someone of Abba Kyari's nature and also standing can be involved in this, I mean, we're still dealing with the issue of his involvement with Hush Puppy and cyber criminality. We have seen his relationship also with Obi Kubana, who was also recently arrested. So we are not surprised that he has a connection with some drug dealers. If Obi Kubana is alleged some people and offenses, and Abba Kyari is already displayed his relationship to the extent that he was reckless enough to be dressed in the uniform that was associated with the burial of Obi Kubana's mother and openly display their relationship. But you won't be surprised to see his connection with drug dealing and drug dealers.
I'm afraid due to the poor connection, we'll have to cut you here and see if we can reconnect with you as the news goes on. Well, moving on now, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has called for an immediate end to the recruitment and use of children as soldiers or for any other conflict-related role. UNICEF also revealed that more than 8,000 girls and boys have been recruited and used as child soldiers in different roles by armed groups across Nigeria. This was contained in a statement by UNICEF to commemorate the International Day Against the Use of Child Soldiers. UNICEF Chief of Maiduguri Field Office for Young Onguyen said for 13 years, armed conflict in northeast Nigeria has claimed thousands of lives, disrupted livelihoods and access to essential services for children and their families. The Conference of Speakers of Nigerian state legislatures has insisted on restructuring of Nigeria, devolution of power, community and state policing and the ongoing amendment of the 1999 Constitution. Chairman of the conference, Abubakar Suleiman, who is also the Speaker of Bauchi State House of Assembly, in his remarks urged the National Assembly to carry the presidency and governors along for the proposals to scale through. He said with the challenges of insecurity, it was important for the legislature to address many agitating issues such as restructuring, devolution of powers, community and state policing.
We are being confronted with certain challenges in the country that border on insecurity, economy, devolution of powers, weak institutions, etc., etc. And the Conference of Speakers subscribes to the call that the review of the Constitution is one of the legislative actions at our disposal that could be exploited to address these challenges.
The proposed amendments in the bills we have shared with you set out institutional and legal reforms, which together with sufficient political will help to strengthen institutions of governance, provide for accountability and transparency in governance, and create an independent judicial system that will ensure effective administration of justice in Nigeria.
The need and importance of reviewing our Eastern Constitution cannot be overemphasized, as a vast majority of Nigerians consider the 1999 Constitution a product of the military exigencies, and that the reference of the we in the people in the Constitution does not truly represent them. A lot of Nigerians have therefore yearned for a crucial review.
And now to election matters. The local elections held in the 6 area councils of Abuja were concluded on Saturday evening. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) secured 3 chairmanship seats, while the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) won 2 seats. However, controversy over who won the chairmanship seat in Abba Kyari Council still lingers. Our correspondent Simisola Adigun tells us more in this next report.
The opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) won 3 chairmanship seats in Kuje, Buari and Abuja Municipal Area Council, while the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) won 2 seats in Gwagwalada and Kwali. However, INEC returning officer for Abaji Area Council, Gabriel Modi, said it will not be legitimate to declare any of the APC aspirants as the winner of the election, because the winning party does not have a candidate here, as the case is still in court. While electoral materials arrived in some polling units within the Abuja Municipal Area Council as early as 8:30 a.m., other area councils in the Capital Territory had an entirely different tale to tell. In some of the polling units visited, there was a malfunctioning of the bimodal voter accreditation system device, largely as a result of poor network. The machine deployed by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for the exercise almost marred the process.
There seem to be some problems with the beavers machine, which we must look at. I don't know if it's deliberate. I don't know what is happening, but these are issues that we must immediately look at.
I can tell you, no one person has been accredited. You can see people eager to vote, but the machine is not working. They have brought another one, yet nothing is happening.
Yes, the material came on time, but the other logistics make it to have some delays. 1 or 2 of the system have some issues.
However, some of the polling units recorded poor turnout of voters, which makes voter apathy a recurring decimal in the nation's electoral process.
Low turnout of people. At some of the centers, especially in Durimi, phase 2 that I went, I could see people who are supposed to exercise their franchise were seen playing football. Shops were opened and there is free movement, although they relaxed the restriction. But I can see that people don't really show concern as regards going out to exercise their franchise in this very election.
Despite some of the challenges, some voters and observers saw the positive side of the process and gave their accounts.
For security agents in the places we are observed, they are there. They seem to have, especially within the city center areas. So I don't know what it is outside. But generally, the conduct is been going peacefully.
Security agencies were on ground to ensure there was no breakdown of law and order, while others were positioned at strategic locations to enforce movement restrictions as imposed by the FCT Police Command. It is expected that the outcome of the election will serve as a learning curve for INEC ahead of the conduct of future off-circle elections, including the 2023 general polls. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News.
Well, to talk more on the outcome of the elections, I'm now joined by Antonia Onda, Senior Programs Official, Yaga Africa. Well, thank you for joining me on the news. Now, you observed the election. Would you say you were satisfied with what you saw and heard during the FCT Council elections? Were you satisfied?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was not satisfied. For us at Yaga Africa, we deployed observers across the 6 area council of the FCT. And based on our observation, there were certain things that we observed. First was the late deployment of materials to the polling unit, which delays the opening of the polls in most of the polling units visited by our observers. And secondly is the malfunctioning of the beavers machine. In most of the polling units, the beavers did not function properly, which it could not read people's fingers and also their card, which delayed the process. And in some places, people were tired of standing at the polling unit, and so they decided to move ahead. Another challenge also was some of the voters, their details were not captured on the register of voters, which was another big issue because after the process of checking the details with the beavers, you go to the manual register to check, but some people's details were not captured on the register. And another challenge was the fact that voters, the distribution of voters to the polling unit, especially after the expansion of the polling unit in the FCT, they were not evenly distributed. A lot of polling units had below 5 people in their register, while others had as much as 2,500. And so there was no even distribution of people to the polling unit. You could see that those polling units with even less than 5 voters in the polling unit, people didn't show up in those places. While we have people, we have over 2,000 in some locations that the process was so slow, even the beavers were not working, and the INEC also said that they were going to deploy at least 2 beavers to polling units where they have more than 1,000 voters, but yet you could see polling units where the beavers were not up to 2 beavers was deployed to the place, and so it slowed down the process.
I would have to ask you a question right now.
Because some could not stay, and it wasn't even working properly.
Sorry to cut you short right now, but I must ask you this question. Now, talking about the beavers machine, the failure of the machine seems to be a recurring issue. Now, to what extent does this problem affect the electoral processes in Nigeria? Briefly.
It affects everything because the law says that everyone must be accredited by the beavers. And in a situation where the beavers is not deployed or used at the polling unit, it means that the result from that location is not valid. And so if for any polling unit that it didn't work, or it was slow and people get tired and left, or it was not able to read or people's fingers or capture the face or the card, it means that the people are automatically disenfranchised. And so it affects everything. As the law has already put it clear, without the beavers accreditation, you will not be able to be processed to vote. So it affects the whole process.
Now, Antonia Onda, Senior Programs Official, Yaga Africa. Thank you for joining me on the news and for your contributions. Moving on now, a coalition group, the Green Alliance, has asked Godwin Emefiele, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to contest for the 2023 presidency. Speaking during a press conference in Lagos on Saturday, Wale Faponda, convener of the group, said the country needs a technocrat that can handle the affairs of the nation. The group added that the CBN governor understands global economic growth and would compel him to accede to its request to run for the presidency under the All Progressives Congress APC.
Everybody must be given equal opportunities. We have identified this man, and fortunately for us, is from the Igbo-speaking part of the country, and we are really latching on that opportunity to also say that this will also assuage and then calm down the agitation that is coming from that part of the country. We have seen all this man has done in terms of monetary policy, in terms of fiscal measures that he has put in place to ensure the country is on track. A lot of us saw the rice pyramid in Abuja and the anchor borrowers program, the various interventionist program that is being allowed to do as a result of the amendment of the CBN Act. His assignment in Nigeria is not limited to being CBN governor. we still want him to come and occupy the highest office of the land to ensure that peace, progress, and prosperity is our portion in Nigeria.
But we'll take a break now and return with more stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has declared Abba Kyari, the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, wanted over alleged links with an international drug cartel. This was made known by the spokesperson of the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, in a press briefing on Monday. Meanwhile, reports say the suspect has been arrested by the police. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, to log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 stories and updates. 38 new cases of COVID-19 infection have been added to Nigeria's caseload. According to data released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), the new infections were recorded across 7 states of the Federation. Lagos State, the epicenter of the virus, came first on the log with 19 infections, while Imo and Plateau State followed next with 10 and 3 cases respectively. The new confirmed cases have increased the country's infection total to 254,096, while with no fatalities recorded, the country's death toll stands at 3,114. Well, we'll take another break now and return with business updates. Don't go away. Well, welcome back. Abisola Adebayo is standing by with the latest in business news. Over to you now, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome to Business News. The Debt Management Office, DMO, says it will auction 150 billion naira federal government bonds to investors on Wednesday, February 16, 2022. According to a statement released by the DMO, the bond issuance will be in 2 tranches valued at 75 billion naira each. The first tranche is a 10-year 12.5% January 2026 reopening bond, while the second is the 20-year 13% 2042 reopening bond. The DMO explained that the settlement date of the bond issuance is February 18, 2022, adding that the bonds qualify as securities in which trustees can invest under the Trustee Investment Act. We'll take a pause here and return with a review of the stock market. The NGX was not able to perform up to expectations today, being the start of the trading week, as the all-share index dipped further by 0.29%, knocking off about 75 billion naira off the market capitalization. Traders dumped hefty volume of shares in several sectors for sale, which outweighed the quantity that investors were willing to buy, and that definitely contributed to the slide. Topping the list of stocks that led the market on a downward trend today, we have J-Paul and Cordville leading the losers counter as they recorded a combined 7 kobo loss. The gains recorded by big names Guinness and ICT giant NCR were not enough to cushion the shock to the index caused by sell-offs by investors. Moving on to our market summary, a total volume of 338 million units of shares valued at 5 billion naira exchange hands in 5,619 deals today. Well, we're still seeing a lot of earning-induced volatility in the market, and that's rightly expected. Even though the market is in the negative today, we can only hope that things will change for the better before the end of the week. On the foreign scene, they are all in the negative territory. UK stocks FTSE is trading in the negative as it recorded a 1.69% decline. In the same vein, the Dow Jones were mostly lower on Monday as investors weighed new development on tensions between Russia and Ukraine that's piling onto market concerns about tighter monetary policy from the Federal Reserve. And in the same vein, Japan stocks Nikkei is also in the negative, recording a 2.23% decline. That's all on stock market report. Over to Mary for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you for that update, Abisala. Now we'll take entertainment report on News Now.
Fans of BB Niger Season 6 housemate Angel Smith have taken their love to an unimaginable height as they joined her in celebration and made her a landlord in Lagos. The reality star marked her 22nd birthday in a lovely way as she got a gift of 2 plots of land from her fans and other amazing packages. Angel shared the video of her gift's presentation online and showered herself with amazing words on a special day as she released new beautiful photos. Angel was one of the housemates from the 6th season of the reality TV show. She was also one of the last 6 housemates standing during the finale. Singer Bella Schroeder has advised his fun-seeking lovers in view of the Valentine's Day celebration. The One World Records artist who wished his fans happy Valentine's via his Twitter handle urged them, especially the females, to show accountability in the season of love. He noted that it is important for them to share the details of who their partners are to a close relation to avoid having to share their photos later for regrettable reasons. And that is all that we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now in sports, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has congratulated the national women basketball team, the Tigress, for picking a ticket to the 2022 FIBA Women's World Cup. The Nigerian ladies, who are 3-time AfroBasket champions, beat their Malian opponents to qualify as Africa's sole representatives. They had earlier beaten France, the highly rated world number 5, after losing their opening game to China. Dare, who commended the ladies for making Nigeria proud with their determination in all the games, tasked them not to relent until they win the world title. Well, that's the size of our news bulletin. Well, thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.